Hard lemonade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Darn old man, Hank Hill, man. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Talk Junkies, where we talk a lot of junk. It's been a pretty good past 2 weeks for all of you who watched my last video. 20 people, I think, 21 people know that I had brought another being into this earth. So her name's Finley.
I thought you were about to say another earthling.
Yeah.
I brought another earthling.
I know, I was about to. I strayed away from it. But I'm glad to be back. I'm so glad.
Yeah. Feels good.
Yeah,
it was weird
it
having a week off.
It did feel weird. There was really nothing to do. I think I just got drunk.
Same.
Yeah. It tends to be what I do with my free time.
Which there's nothing wrong with that. But at least you know that the podcast has purpose in your heart somewhere deep in there.
It's very true.
It is, man. It has to be. So we're going to get into some topics tonight. Jesse's been, he mentioned something that, sorry, this rug's getting on my nerves. But you mentioned, so what was it that you saw about the cartel that struck it?
I'm trying to remember where I even heard it from, but they're, and you could probably Google it, but basically, if the way that the government is looking at the cartel right now and how they're defined, they're talking about switching it and then labeling them a terrorist organization, which would then allow our government to start taking action, basically directly against the cartels, like.
Well, that would also mean a lot more potential, like, wiretapping and all that stuff too, right? Like Patriot Act kind of stuff for certain people.
Yeah,
they probably already do that.
No,
though.
yeah, but I mean on a more public, I shouldn't say public, but a less behind the scenes kind of thing.
Right.
I think the whole thing was if they are able to label them a terrorist organization, then they can go to war with them and then start like fucking their shit up. I think is what they're thinking.
The war on drugs.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, me either. It's new to me.
Yeah.
Well, and what resource does China or Mexico have that we would need if we were to go in there and help them get rid of the cartel? Avocados?
All that Mexican oil.
Limes, bro.
Yeah. They probably do have some oil, but
They have llamas.
they don't have
In
llamas.
Mexico.
They got alpacas.
Alpacas. There you go. Reminds me of The Emperor's New Groove. Shout out to that movie. The movie's legit AF.
So let's look at the reason why maybe we should involve ourselves, because there is an epidemic going on, and it's been going on for a long time. It's not only Mexico; it's a lot of South America where the cartel is involved. Pablo Escobar, I mean Colombia. I don't know if you guys watched the Netflix special on that, but Pablo Escobar was the man.
He built his own prison, the prison that he was gonna do time in. So he just was like, okay, I'm gonna build that shit. And then do whatever.
And they let him. He paid a whole bunch of money for that too. Yeah. He like built the entire thing. He like it was basically like a house.
Yeah.
It was like a house inside. He didn't have a cell. He was just, you have to stay in this building, but this building was a mansion.
It's legit. No, he definitely outsmarted the system, which is a broken system in Mexico. I think the general consensus of the people in Mexico is that the cartels are fucking awful because they ruin, they keep the people impoverished. They have, they negatively affect the politicians, like they corrupt the politics and all this, and then, the cartel can do whatever they want because they have so much money and shit.
They just give all the money to the politicians and to the governors and president, however it's done.
Because they have so much momentum and so much power, and the cartel can literally, I've seen videos online of what the cartel like does to people, like chainsaws like motherfuckers' heads off and shit. Like I've fucking seen that. Like so I for sure like could probably do something about those evil motherfuckers.
It says right here, the Mexican government released data from 2007 to 2014. More than 164,000 people were victims of homicide. And then in the year 2014, I'm guessing 20,000 people died. So, I thought the numbers were going to be bigger than that, to be honest.
That still sounds pretty high for, you're talking just homicide.
Right. Yeah, I've watched some documentaries and where I forget what city it is, maybe Tijuana or It's one of the cities that are close to the border to the United States, and it's just like there's 1 to 4 homicides every day throughout the whole year. 1 to 4 people die every day.
That's too much. Yeah, that many people should not be, shot in the face every day. That doesn't sound too good.
But and so they extort people, right? And they take people's money. If you open up a business, they want to get their hands involved. It's like a mafia, but they call it a cartel. It's the same thing as a mafia. But I mean, in essence, I don't know what Mexico's tax rate is. I mean, I don't know if it's 30% like it is here in the United States or a little more. But it essentially it's the same thing as our government. Our government's a cartel in the United States.
Well,
I don't know about
that.
That'd be like saying our government is the mafia.
You don't think so? I mean,
I've got a lot of issues with our government. Everybody does.
Do you know how many?
Nobody's happy about the government.
Do you know how many people we've killed since like World War II or since like the early 1900s via war?
Well, yeah, but war is a little different than.
I mean, wouldn't you consider like what the cartel does in Mexico? Wouldn't you consider that a war?
No.
No, they're not in a war. They're just like tyrants.
They're going around to different businesses, extorting people, like you said, so on and so forth. Bribing politicians, everything else.
If somebody doesn't do what they want them to do, they'll fucking kill them and their whole family and shit.
Okay, Hillary Clinton. How many people have died mysteriously under?
That's true. I mean, yeah, politicians can get into some sketchy shit. I think you're focused on just maybe some individuals. That are within the government. It's not the government's.
If anyone were to do anything important and the government in the United States didn't want it to happen, you could slowly you could disappear off the face of the earth and no one would know why, and they would be considered a suicide.
Maybe.
I mean, you're probably right.
Yeah, I'm sure they have the connections.
Yeah. So I mean that's kind of going off topic, and I'm not trying to do that, but I mean,
no, there are definitely corrupt individuals in our government that do sketchy fucked up shit on the side, I'm sure.
I think the biggest difference between that you're comparing a cartel to the government kind of thing is that the government also provides, and I'm not saying there's probably just so that they have a good name, there's probably plenty of cartels who donate to Mexican schools and stuff so that they get in good with so they get in good with the community. I get that. But the government's also, I mean, we've got an infrastructure system of, police and firefighters and so on and so forth.
How many people die from police brutality? Or how many cops die every year from brutality? I mean, it's all there.
I'm just saying it's different. I don't think the government is a cartel. I think that's a little out there, but I see the comparisons.
It's like a more sophisticated cartel, in essence.
I guess.
That's fucking weird. Why? It's the
by that logic, then you would say that a cartel is a government.
Yeah, and they're not.
But they're not.
But people aren't.
Well, they are because they run the country, and they have been doing so for such a long time. So in some fashion, they are.
They definitely have an effect on the politics, I'm sure, at some point too. But that's not. Yeah, I wouldn't go and call.
I mean, honestly, anytime it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you call it. Cartel, government, mafia, any of these big groups. At the end of it's people in power with money.
Mm-hmm.
That's true, and I guess you're right. That
changes the way that other people live.
Yeah.
Should the government, should our government, label cartel? First of all, do you think the cartel should be labeled as a terrorist organization?
I think so. Yes, and I've never been to Mexico. I don't know what it's like to live there. I mean, I'm fearful to go over there because I've heard if you go to Mexico and you're a gringo, things could go wrong south if you're not at a destination for tourism.
Sure. For sure.
Some stuff went down with my dad. I'm trying to think what I can say here and not get into too much detail. But the gist of it is that he didn't do anything wrong. I don't know how to word it. One of the stories you hear where they're like, oh, you broke this vase, even though you didn't break the vase, and they're telling you that you knocked over the vase on your way out of the store. So now you have to pay us $800, and if you don't pay us $800, you're going to this Mexican prison.
That happened to him?
Extortion?
Yeah, basically.
That's extortion.
Yeah, no, that's what happened to him. Not the vase situation. It was a different situation that I'm not going to talk about on this.
Again, you don't have to get in.
But no, that happened to my dad when he went to...
He got extorted.
Yeah, no, he was basically, they're like, you're going to give us this money or you are going to jail.
And you don't want to go to...
No.
Mexican prison.
But what are the implications if we were to consider them a terrorist organization? I mean, is it something? I'm curious if it's just like, do we send just a couple hundred like Secret Service troops, or not Secret Service, but just some high up there troops to go in there and do it? Or
haven't we already been doing that though?
Just
No, we regulate the border. We don't send troops. I'm sure we have an embassy, but we don't have troops in Mexico. Just like
not troops,
patrolling.
But you have like Secret Service, like the Pablo Escobar. If you watch that Netflix series, which the first season is really cool, and I've been fascinated with Pablo Escobar for some reason growing up.
You talking about Narcos, or are you talking about
Narcos? Narcos, yeah. And did you watch it or no?
Yeah. I've seen the first
so,
season.
And
of
they have American secret agents in there, and they're part of like trying to make transactions, trying to find out where Pablo Escobar is. So there's a lot of people working together from different countries trying to make it happen, to catch him.
It's just usually more behind the scenes kind of stuff like
right.
that. You said, secret, not so much. It's not like Afghanistan where we have troops on the ground driving Humvees through the bazaars.
See, I don't think that's necessary because I don't think Mexico would like that. The citizens, anyways.
I don't think Afghanistan likes it.
Not at all. And I agree 100% why they wouldn't like it.
No, and especially think it's not like going to war in Iraq where it's that far away. Like this is right here. So all of a sudden, like if you start going to war with the cartel.
Yeah, that causes some major issues.
All of a sudden, everything at the border now, you would have cartel.
Intensifies.
Shit wouldn't happen on U.S. soil, probably. Like, the cartel would start,
doing shit here in the United States.
Yeah.
The ones that are here.
Yeah.
Basically,
for sure.
sleeper cells.
So that would be... I don't know if cartel is sleeper cells or not. Is that a legitimate thing? Is that a
sleeper
thing?
Cell?
Sleeper cells?
Those are real things.
Yeah.
Where you say Alpha G6 activate and the fucking person, blanks out.
Gets a text.
No. Not like that. Not like they're brainwashed or anything. The whole point of a sleeper cell is they're a group of people that just live normal life, and whenever they get that message and say, hey, it's time to go, it's the same as like a spy, like a real life, like American agent living somewhere else, like living in Paris for 3 years, and then if something goes down, he gets that text message from the fucking president and does whatever he's supposed to do.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
It's crazy as fuck, man.
AMTV, this guy named Christopher Green, I told you a little bit about him, and he's into Bitcoin big time. He's called the Bitcoin Millionaire. And anyways, he posted a few videos back to back, and he's just like, sleeper cells activated. He's like, and he showed like this map of like potential sleeper cells in the United States and all 50 states, and that they're gonna get activated and war's gonna happen in the United States soon. I'm like, dude, you are a fear-mongering motherfucker. Like, this is ridiculous. I unsubscribed to him after that video.
Yeah, I think people make it way too, and even saying stuff like, oh, a spy over in Paris, like it sounds so. But I mean, I think that sleeper cells and whatnot, it just makes it sound so hardcore when it's not that hardcore. It's literally just that happens. There are Russian spies right now on our soil that have been here. Just like there's spies, American spies in Russia right now. Like that's a typical government thing.
Just everybody's spying.
Yeah,
on,
we're spying on
everybody.
We're spying on our allies. We got
shit.
people in France. France has people over here. Like,
why not?
No, France isn't doing shit. France doesn't have fucking sleeper cells, man. Russia, I guarantee you, Russia does. I guarantee you, we do. I don't fucking think France.
I saw something. Have you guys ever heard of this? Is on this same topic. Numbers stations.
No.
This is crazy. Heard about this the other day watching. I've shown you some things from before. Windover Productions. He does the whole talked about the planes, like the Boeing 747, and like the economy of planes and all this different stuff. You've seen a couple of videos from him. Anyways, I guess, and they're like, you can look them up right now and find there's these things called number stations, which are these giant like radio towers or whatever, and they broadcast. They're not on an encrypted frequency or anything like that, and they use like very low whatever frequency, so it reaches like towers here can reach like Europe and vice versa. Like towers in Russia can hit like the East Coast, kind of thing. And they broadcast every day. You can look up a list and listen to them right now. They broadcast multiple times a day. Like they'll broadcast at 2 p.m., 6 p.m., and then 9 p.m. or something like that. And they literally just send out numbers over the air.
What are the numbers?
The numbers are for actual spies that are in different countries or whatever, and they have what's called a one-time pad, which is an encryption thing that they're given where they can decrypt it or whatever, but then that's thrown away. It only exists like for that. So there's a one-time pad for the person broadcasting the numbers, and then there's a matching one-time pad for the person listening to get the orders or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then those get disposed of. So there's no, it's like one of the perfect encryption methods where you can't break it or decode it or whatever. And no, they're still live today. They do it all the time. Russia sends them out. You can hear Russia's over here, and you can go across and hear ours over there.
How secretive is that though for them to broadcast it like that? And literally,
that's the thing I was like watching and reading and learning about it and stuff. Is like all the governments know about it. Like it's not hidden. They don't talk about it, but there's nothing hidden. You can right now as a civilian go on here, find the time that it brought. You can find out where it is. You'd be like, oh, there's one in Atlanta. That's just throwing out a city. And then you can find out which time it broadcasts on what frequency, and you can listen to it and hear all those numbers. It's not going to do anything for you.
So is it just specifically just Russia doing this, or is there other countries?
Yeah, tons of countries.
So they're all just like, we're going to get on this frequency, and we're just going to. We know there's spies in these countries, or we know we have spies in our country.
It's not
but we're just
necessarily spy shit. It's just they're sending information that they don't want.
They're sending information that they don't want people to know.
So anyone who were to live in the United States that's Russian, they could listen to this, and they would if they know.
Not anyone, it'd be the specific people.
The need to know people.
Yeah.
Right. I got you. That's pretty cool.
But you can. The fact is that you can get on there and listen to them right now.
You would think that would be like outdated fucking technology.
No, it's not. It's not outdated for that exact reason. Is because it's one of the only methods that's not.
Because you physically, however they fucking have it set up, that they know that each time the fucking shit's gonna be different, and you have to have the matching shit.
You have to have the matching shit, which is only on like a paper copy kind of thing. It's not ever sent digitally or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So they have that, and if like someone were to get killed and their thing stolen or whatever, they still have to. You have to know. Like it's not even written. Like so, you've got the numbers written down, mm-hmm. but there could be like 50 rows, but you know you're only using row 48. You know that it's not written down that you're using row 40.
Is it a password to get into the device?
It's not a
no. It's
all
paper.
It's not a device. It's just on paper. It's a pen and pencil.
Right. So they write down when they hear it on the radio.
Yeah.
And the United States government could write it down as well.
Yeah.
And then they could try and figure it out.
Good luck.
I mean, what do you mean good luck? AI, bro. Let me hit up AI.
The whole reason that, like you're saying, it's outdated technology. You'd have to watch the thing that I was doing and read about it and stuff. I just thought it was really interesting. But it's basically, it's not. I mean, it is outdated, but it's super cheap, and they don't have to be secretive about it. It's super, super cheap. It's easy to do, and you don't have to try to encrypt things on your computer and send USBs and send emails that are all encrypted and can be decrypted and all this stuff. You're literally broadcasting on a radio station numbers. That's all you're doing.
Yeah. I wonder, like, at that point, you just try to figure out who the fuck's listening to it. Like, if you're trying to figure out who the fuck, because then you know that, oh, shit, this person's probably a fucking spy because they're listening to the fucking Russian.
Maybe. I don't think it really, that's what I'm saying. It's such a, and it happens multiple times a day, every single day. These are broadcasting all over the world. So it's gotten to a point where everybody's just, as far as like on the government side of things, they're all just comfortable with it.
Because everybody's fucking doing it.
Yeah.
And then just,
it is
like,
what it is.
Fuck it.
It's been happening since like the 60s or 80s or whenever, been happening a while. They said it was real big in the Cold War. It was a lot more active in the Cold War, but they still broadcast every day.
That sounds like some serious Cold War shit with that,
But I guess they kept them up and running because they haven't, like, why don't fix it if it's not broken, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
It's interesting. So, I mean, when it comes down to it, I don't think I'm for us labeling, or I am for us labeling the cartel as a terrorist organization. Did you say you were as well?
I don't think. And okay, this
What's
is
the definition of a terrorist organization?
Let's find out.
I don't know the Webster Merriam definition.
Person who uses unlawful violence and intimidation, especially against civilians, in the pursuit of political aims.
Yeah,
so yeah,
that's
cartel.
Yeah. They're a terrorist organization. There you go.
If you're going off of that definition, they're 100%.
Yeah.
So is our government.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah. Shit. But not a cartel, though. You can call our government terrorists, but not a cartel. But no, this is what I was going to get down to. If you don't want the influence of the cartel and you want to label them a terrorist organization and you're going to go through all this trouble and you're going to go to war, why don't you just go on ahead and take away their fucking source of money, which is the drugs that they fucking sell? Because if drugs were just legal, let's say you legalize cocaine, just legalize cocaine, and then guess what? The cartel is fucked. Like,
they're still going to have it and be sending it over and stuff.
Yeah, but I mean...
But eventually you'd have people... I mean, it's the same as... You got people up in Canada and you got people in, Colorado and stuff just growing weed now because
Yeah.
they can, because it's legal.
Yeah. No, but this one's like if you just legalize cocaine, and then the cartel, obviously they wouldn't be buying from the cartel because you don't do business with people who do awful evil shit like that. So you'd create like somebody else would do it.
I'm sure our government's bought drugs from the cartel.
Oh,
before.
for sure, dude. Bill Clinton was fucking president. I guarantee you he was fucking blowing all kinds of lines and shit. But anyway, you take away their fucking source of money is what I'm saying. Like that's the best way to win a war anyway, is you just ruin their fucking economy. Ruin their fucking economy. So if they're that fucking awful and all this fucking harm is happening, I think the lesser of fucking two evils is you just fucking legalize fucking cocaine. That's what I say.
You think that would help?
I think that would fix a lot of things.
I don't think it would hurt. I'll at least say that. I don't think it would hurt.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been big. I think everything should be fucking. I'm a libertarian. I think every drug should be fucking legal, and because people do whatever the fuck they want to do anyway, and I know I've gone over this like
we've talked
1,000
about
times
this a
before
lot
on this podcast, but yeah, I think the lesser of two evils is to just eliminate these organizations entirely by crashing their economic system by just legalizing and not having shit on the fucking black market at all.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So there's a new law, and I'm trying to look it up, and I'm pretty sure it's in Washington, D.C., and I'm looking, and I can't find shit on it. It's pissing me off. But basically, there's this new law. It's called TAPS, and it's...
Is it a law?
I need it. That's why I'm trying to look it up. I'm not entirely sure if they passed it or not, but I'm pretty sure they did because they had a press conference with some political people, and there was other people or other political figures from other states that wanted to join while this guy had this press conference to talk about it and how they're going to enforce it, and it's going to be a great thing for everyone.
What the fuck is it?
So basically, that's what I'm trying to find out, man. But I can't find it, man. It's not. It's okay, so I'm going to keep looking for it, but basically what they're saying...
What's it called? I'll look for it on my phone.
TAPS, TAPS. And so basically what they said they're going to do is they're going to get a whole bunch of smart, like-minded people, and they're going to make these personality tests. And I don't know how they would do this, if they would basically put into effect everyone in the state would have to take this personality test, probably, at the age of 14. I don't know, maybe that's what it is. I don't know. And... what they're trying to do is they're trying to see if you are going to commit a crime later on in life. Because what they had said in the press conference was they were talking about just school shootings, mass shootings, and stuff like that, and how we need to prevent it, and we need to figure out a way to combat it, because obviously they're not going to take guns away and stuff like that, at least for right now. And they said that these personality tests, you would take it, and if you failed it or whatever, and for some reason they thought the way you answered the questions within this test, they could arrest you.
So where did you hear this? Because I'm finding a lot about TAPS and TAP and stuff, which are just personality tests. They use them with athletes and all this different stuff. But I'm even looking up like about it being a legal thing and all this different stuff, and like I'm not coming up with anything.
Oh, that's what I'm trying to... I'll find it real fast.
The closest I'm getting is like, could workplace personality tests lead to unlawful firing, blah, blah, like, but that's nothing to do with what you're talking about. You're talking on a hardcore fucking state level kind of shit.
You can't...
I don't think that's a... I don't think
people,
a thing.
People would
it
be...
is, bro. I promise you.
I don't think...
I'll put money on it.
If anything, you don't arrest the person. What you do is you're like, okay, there are some red flags here. You need special attention, because you might have a mental disorder, and we need to treat it.
Okay,
and
so
we need to make sure that...
It's just a bill, sorry, and it's called the TAPS Act. I'm sorry. That's how you would search it up. Continue, Jesse, sorry.
No, so, like, nobody should fucking be arrested. If they come up with a system to where, like, let's say every fifth grader, like, that's, developmental age, every fucking fifth grader, just like how they take the whatever state fucking test, I'm pretty sure you do that shit in, like, the fourth or fifth grade, where they see... It's like a statewide test that you fucking take to see where everyone's at, kind of thing, and then you get put in the percentiles and shit.
Oh, some
You know what
schools
I'm
do
talking
that.
about?
Some schools do. Some schools don't.
No,
I
but
know
it-
what you're talking about.
Yeah,
though.
I'm pretty sure I did one. I don't remember. the
I
fucking
did
name
when
of
I
it.
was in 5th grade.
Yeah, it was like I don't even remember what grade it was, but let's just say 5th grade that you do a statewide. Hey, everybody, all these kids take, fucking personality test to where, maybe you find out that hey, this might be a good opportunity to figure out if kids have bad home life and shit like that. Maybe shit that's causing mental disorders. You don't go and arrest them though.
No, that gets
Or-
into some Minority Report shit.
Yeah,
like
that's-
stopping crimes before they happen. You can't. That's
But I don't see anything wrong with coming up with a kind of like personality test and being like, holy shit, there's some red flags here. This kid needs some special attention. Where maybe you talk to a fucking school counselor and yeah, I don't honestly.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
fine
see,
with that.
You just don't go fucking and arrest them though. But as far as if you're talking about preventative like school shootings and shit, to do something like that, like I'm trying to see a moral reason not to do that if they think that would be beneficial.
you
know
just
what I mean?
You're given the right to the federal government or state officials to arrest you for a
We're
a
not.
crime
I'm not
you haven't
talking about
committed.
the arrest thing though.
No, I don't agree with any kind of arresting
No,
thing.
I don't agree with this law or this bill or whatever at all. I'm saying though, like what Jesse's saying with the whole having a student take a test and then they see, oh man, they've got some weird answers on here. Maybe they got a bad home life. Maybe some shit's going down. We should probably like have them come in and see a counselor or
Yeah.
whatever. There's nothing wrong with that as long as the consequences are minuscule, such as going to see a counselor. You can't be like, oh, we're going to give you suspension for a year and you need to be homeschooled.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can't-
no, that's I don't agree with that at all. But if all of a sudden something comes up to where you're like, holy shit, this is, something that we can prevent from getting worse, like it could spiral so far that, 4 years from now he might snap and fucking shoot a bunch of people at his fucking school because these are like the early warning signs. I mean, you're able to address it then and there,
It's true.
kind of thing.
But like I said, addressing it has to be small scale.
and
You
not
can't-
arresting them
Yeah,
because they
you
haven't
can't
done anything.
arrest them or be like, we think you're going to be a school shooter. You're talking counseling and
I mean, and I could be wrong, but people that are that age and still in school and stuff like that, it might be a process similar to what you guys are talking about, But I think for adults, it's a little different because adults can lie about it, know, and they can fib it, and even if they do a time
that's what I'm
sequence
saying.
on the
That's
test.
why I'm saying I'm totally against this bill. Like that's all a joke to me. That's
Yeah, but it's not a joke because it's going to be law soon. They're
We'll-
gonna enact it.
we'll
It's going to
see.
happen. For sure, it will. I mean, they get what they want. It's going to happen, and it's going to be a part of what we are.
But if I don't see any moral issue with them doing, obviously, no parent's gonna be like, oh, my kid just took this test today, and then now he's fucking not allowed back at school or whatever. No, there's gonna be a bunch of fucking people pissed off about that. But no, if there's something to where it gives it can shed some light to where maybe this kid has, is troubled at all, and then you can ask him about his home life and everything, or her home life, whatever, and then if it helps prevent shit like that, I don't see any problem with it. Like,
as far as this bill goes and the law part of it and whatnot, I don't think that'll ever. The government has got away with some crazy shit. They always will, and it'll progressively get farther and farther. And maybe 1 year way down the road, something like this happens. I think that we let us as people let the government get away with a lot. We don't revolt, we don't stand up for ourselves and all that stuff like we should, so on and so forth. But I guarantee you, there's gonna be chaos and a whole bunch of just stuff going to court, unconstitutional, that word being thrown around a lot. If someone gets arrested for taking a personality test and it says, hey, you seem like you might shoot up a stadium, so now we're going to arrest you, that's completely unconstitutional, and that causes a whole bunch of issues.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think that's happening.
We're past the point of, we're way past the point of using the Constitution as an excuse to get out of a situation that the government enacts upon
True,
us.
true.
We're way past that. I mean, you look at New Zealand with what happened there, a couple months ago with the devastation that happened there with the shootings. And anyone who posted the video, afterwards, and they said, hey, don't post it, and they posted it, they got arrested for just posting a video or sharing a video for other people to look at and
See, I didn't hear about that.
investigate. Yeah. There was a guy, these cops came to his house, and the video's on YouTube. And like, hey, we're here to talk to you about, what had happened. And this was months after. And he's like, hey, man, it's a Sunday. Like, why are you coming to my house on a Sunday? He's like, well, let's talk. He's like, turn off your camera and we'll talk. He's like, I'm not turning my camera off. And then the cop left. Like, why is he at his house? Why is he trying to interrogate him about something he had nothing involved with? So if you have any affiliation to the video or you're posting the video or anything like that, you will get arrested and spend 10 years in jail in New Zealand.
For what video? I'm confused. Like a video of the shooting?
The live stream, yeah. Because, of course, people recorded it and then they shared it and shit like that, yeah. Because at that point, if no one has access to it, then no one can investigate it. And I'm not saying anything was fishy with it. I've never seen the video. I feel sorry for anyone that was involved in that, you know? But at the same time, it should still be open for investigation for everyone, not just for the police or anyone like that. I mean, journalism and all that stuff, you know? Because, of course, CNN saw it. MSNBC, Fox, all of them, they all saw it.
If you take... I don't know. Like, if I'm trying to think of a reason why that would be illegal to have. I mean, if it's
just
sensitive.
I mean, it could be a law in New Zealand though, where they're like, you can't post anything of a graphic nature, blah 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 blah. I don't know.
It was the horrific event that happened that enacted that law, basically, and literally the next week they took most guns away from every citizen in New Zealand. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to look that up. I could be wrong, but the prime minister or whatever came out and said, "Hey, these guns are now legal. These style of guns. Any gun that was involved in the shooting," she said, "no one can have anymore."
I don't know. I don't know that
I'm
much
just
about
saying,
it.
yeah.
I don't know the New Zealand thing.
Right.
So
I'm just saying, like, when shit like that happens, the government basically just does what they want, and they just...
yeah, I mean, they always have. We've had this conversation many times. They
You're
always
right,
get away
you're
with
right.
what they want. I just don't think that this TAPS thing is gonna...
I agree with you. I think, yeah, it's going to be ineffective, and people are going to... yeah, there's going to be shit in court that happens, and rightfully so.
For the most part, our government's just really good at whenever they see a problem, like school shootings or whatever, they don't come up with solutions. They just come up with laws. And
Exactly.
laws
That's
are not
100%.
laws are just a way to be like, oh, we can't be smart enough to figure out how to make this better to where this shit doesn't happen, so we're just going to call it illegal. And if it happens, we just,
Yeah,
put you back behind bars. It doesn't fix the problem. Laws don't fix problems.
Do you know where most shootings like that happen?
Where?
In gun-free zones.
Really? I didn't know that.
I think it's over 90% of mass shootings happen in gun-free zones. There's actually one yesterday or 2 days ago in Virginia Beach at a municipal court in a gun-free zone.
Okay, that's also people's fault for kind of being dumb as well, though. You realize that there's nothing... Let's say where we work right now, you put a giant sign that says no weapons allowed on the premises, no guns allowed. You know that legally I can still bring a gun in there, right?
Well, yeah, but if I see the gun, I can call the cops.
Yes, you can, and you can tell me that you don't want me on the property, so on and so forth. But people are still allowed to bring guns into gun-free zones.
For sure, but not at schools, not a chance.
Yeah, no, you definitely get in trouble for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm saying you're talking like you go to concerts and they're like, "Oh, you can't have guns here." Like you can definitely have a gun there. You can have a conceal and carry and all that stuff.
But for what you're saying, the odds of people actually bringing a gun to one of those places is slim to none.
That's definitely lower.
Well, and what I'm saying is, if you were a shooter, where would be the first place you would go? You'd go to a gun-free zone, and that's exactly where all these shootings happen for the most part.
Well, because they happen a lot at schools, and schools are, supposed to not have.
I guess guns. Yeah. I feel like that statistic's a little skewed.
Yeah.
Because school shootings are a gun-free zone, but it's also the shooting took place there because it's a school, not because it's a gun-free zone.
But if you had teachers who were equipped with weapons and trained on how to use them, it would be a different story.
I do not, man. I don't have kids, but I don't want my.
Yeah.
Have you seen some of these fucking teachers?
I don't agree. I don't agree
not,
with arming teachers.
Not all teachers is what I'm saying. I mean, or just having security guards there or something like that.
That's a good way to increase school deaths.
Yeah.
Is if you give teachers guns, bro.
Yes. And you know what? You can say that all you want, but right now there are no statistics to prove anything what you just said that came out of your mouth. There's nothing.
You have not met enough teachers then.
Okay, first of all, in order for there to be a shooting, you need to have first a gun. And what you're doing is you're adding
a gun to the equation.
I'm
not saying every single
some
teacher.
Stupid fucking kid. That teacher just needs to not be aware just for 2 seconds, and some fucking kid grabs that fucking gun.
You think that gun's just going to be on the teacher at all times, and the kid's just going to grab it?
Then what's the point of having the fucking gun? If they got it locked up somewhere, the teacher needs the gun easily accessible to take out the fucking shooter. The shooter fucking shows up, right?
Kids get into all kinds. If it's man, we broke into our teachers' desks and stuff all the time. Yeah. My biology teacher in high school had a fucking bong in her desk.
Dude, that's badass, man.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be.
She was dope as fuck too.
But what I'm saying is, they could have a gun or a few guns in the school where only a few people know where those guns are, and they have access to them with quick and easy access.
It just takes one incident to where some stupid little fucking kid figures out where this gun is and then fucking makes a bad decision. You're just adding the gun to the scenario.
And how do you?
I'm all for. I think people should fucking own guns. I don't think the government should fucking take away guns. But I don't think. You know my view on guns, but I don't think you need to fucking arm teachers.
So let's say either there's two options: either you or you have a child and your child's at school, or you're somewhere in a government building or wherever you are, and you're in a gun-free zone, and you have an active shooter, right? And you're in a gun-free zone, no one has a gun, and he's coming down the hallway, or she is, and they're coming right for you. What's going to be going through your mind? I wish I had a gun. Or I wish someone in this building had a gun. Please protect me, please.
Well, aren't there plenty of... My school had police officers.
A lot of schools have security guards and shit.
But I mean, there a lot of... That's not what I'm saying, though. But if you're in that situation, that's what you're going to be thinking.
That's still not what... But what I'm saying is there's a high potential.
Don't jump around the question, Jesse. Is that not what you would think?
No. Okay.
If you were in that situation...
Obviously, if
it would be shitty, would you think that, hey, I wish I had a gun, or someone in this building had a gun to take care of this motherfucker who's in here doing this horrific act?
Of course.
Yeah, if that one thing were to happen. Yeah. But I also, me walking through that building on a regular day where there's not a shooting, I don't want these motherfuckers having guns.
There's no motherfucker. There's a few guns somewhere in the building where only a few people know where they are to protect those people.
I don't want that. I don't want that.
I think in the long run that does.
But you have people dying because you don't want that. You have innocent kids dying because
you would have
don't
people
want that.
dying because that's a thing.
You don't know that because there are no statistics to prove that.
You know what? You're right. I don't know that. Let's let it happen, and then the statistics can come out.
I don't think that there will be statistics. That's just my opinion.
Not, because we're smart enough not to arm teachers and not let that happen.
They would be trained. They would go through vigorous training, and they could even take the TAPS Act test, personality, just to make sure that they can handle weapons.
But once again, you're not solving the problem of school shooters.
So how do you solve the problem, Jesse?
You need to look at these individuals' personality.
How many people in America, Jesse? How many people? You're going to look at every single person, and you're going to tell me you're going to seek and find a needle in a haystack and fix it.
It comes from either the mental disorder or upbringings of that causes violent nature. You need to look at these people's scenarios that they're in.
So the schools need to be in everyone's household and see what's going on in everyone's household. So how do you fix a needle in a haystack?
No, you just give better opportunity. Like there's better ways than just saying like to prevent school shootings. You need to.
But right now there's not better opportunity, and when is that going to change, if ever?
I don't know. But you.
So what is the solution if it never changes?
I don't think arming teachers though.
I mean, if you arm teachers, that's perfectly fine. I just won't send my kids to that school.
I wouldn't want my kid in a school where
there's an armed teacher.
Yeah, where there's armed teachers.
If it's not a gun-free zone, or if there are guns allowed, or people know that there are guns at this establishment, I guarantee you that there won't even be a shooting at that school.
I highly doubt that.
You guys think that some random kid's just going to find this gun? No, I don't think so.
No. Sorry, I didn't let you finish. I thought you were saying something else. I still think that school shootings are going to happen because you arm all the teachers, right? That doesn't stop fucking crazy 15-year-old, 16-year-old Kyle who just wants to go in there and kill people. He's not going to all of a sudden, like, this dude is mentally broken down. You're talking about a kid. I'm not talking about an adult. This changes everything with an adult. But I'm talking about a 15-year-old school shooter who comes in, he's whatever, depressed, he's, whatever, decides to go in and shoot up his classmates because life's not going good for him. He's not at a mental state where he's going to be thinking, oh, they have guns, I'm not going to go shoot up the school now. He's still going to fucking do it. And now you just have more guns in the equation.
That's what I'm saying. That doesn't solve the problem of school shootings.
And I think that's 50-50, with that guy's mentality, because no one truly knows what's going through someone's head in a situation.
True,
like
but I highly doubt that these 15-year-olds who shoot up a school or whatever, 17-year-old whatever, who's gone a little off his rocker, is a little crazy and whatnot, decides to go in and shoot up a place with an AR or whatever. I don't think he's planning on like just coming out of that perfectly alive without going to prison or without getting shot or something. And I don't think that having people in there who are armed are going to change him from going in there in the first place.
I think a lot of this comes down to parents too. Parents should be maybe aware, like if you see warning signs of, hey, my kid, you need to be active in maybe being more involved in your kid's life. And I'm sure that there was never a super loving parent who asked really intuitive questions and was really involved in their kid's life. That was like, chances are the school shooters probably have, bad home life.
Bad home life,
and not in communication with their parents. Also, another thing is that if you're a parent and you have, you should teach your kids gun safety. Like if you're, my grandpa taught me, gun safety. He was very,
Even if you don't like guns, guns exist. I hate it when people are like, I don't believe in guns. I'm like, that's weird because I've seen them. Like they're fucking real.
Yeah. I'm totally all about gun safety. But if I own guns, which I don't, if I own guns and I have kids in my house, that shit's gonna be locked up fucking so goddamn tight. They're not gonna be able to get a hold of those guns. Like school shooters, like how the fuck did you have such easy goddamn access to these fucking weapons? Like you should. As a parent,
it's the same way.
But as a parent, you need to fucking lock your fucking shit up. Like kids make awful decisions.
Right.
Kids are fucking stupid. You want a life fucking
life
deciding fucking tool just like laying out and shit.
Hey, you actually want to stop school shootings? You're talking about a solution because earlier I was going to make a joke and just be like, there is no solution, which is true. There's really not a solution. People are always going to be people, and people suck.
Exactly. I agree with that.
You want to come up with a better solution than just arming teachers and blah 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 and so forth. Long-term, a better education process. Educate the people of today so that they are better and more moral people whenever they're having kids, and teach their kids the right way, kind of thing.
For sure. No, obviously that's that's easier.
It all stems from individuals and home life and people and whatnot. If we can better, and I'm not talking education like basic math and stuff. I'm just in general, like our whole education system needs to be overhauled completely. We've had this conversation before, but just make people into better people. Like if you have adults who are raising their kids well, and are also smart to where even if their kid goes through something crazy, like just something nuts happens and their brother dies and all this different stuff comes and they don't want to live anymore and they want to shoot up a place or whatnot, well, they're not going to be able to get your gun if you're a reasonable person and you've kept it under lock and key where they don't know where it is.
And just for the record, I'm not saying arm all teachers. I'm saying it just like you said, if you had kids and you had a gun in your house, it's going to be in a place where they can't find it. And obviously, if a school shooter, whether what age he or she is, they're gonna create carnage. But can you limit that carnage? Can you save lives? And that's what it's about. If we know these things are going to happen, and
you just need to fucking put motion censored fucking turret guns at the end of every fucking hallway.
There you go.
That senses fucking metal on a kid.
No, Timmy, you don't have a hall pass. It gets mowed down because he didn't have a fucking hall pass on him.
Yeah. RoboCop style sentry fucking turret guns at the corner of every hallway. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I'm for that. Just don't arm teachers.
Yeah, no. I'm all for the fucking turret guns, trust me. That's legit. I'm fine with that, but don't fucking put handguns on with your fucking high school teacher.
With any large high school, I guarantee you that there's one fucking teacher within each high school that would be mentally stable to know where a gun is at in case something were to happen in a situation like that. And
but then you're also adding, man, schools are huge. You're adding one person who knows where it is.
And then they have to react, and then they have to be there that day.
I'm just saying for the benefit of the doubt, for the conversation, I'm saying that there's, in a high school with fucking 100 teachers, I guarantee you there are 2 to 3 or even 4 teachers that you could trust in any given situation where it's locked up just like it would be in your house to limit carnage or even stop it.
Here's the thing is, I'd be willing to bet right now, and not every school, for sure not every school, because people would be worried about losing their jobs, and not even losing their job, but getting in actual legal trouble and stuff and getting arrested. But I guarantee you there are a good amount of schools out there that right now that actually already happens. I guarantee you there's a teacher somewhere out there with a gun.
That's true.
Under lock and key in their desk, hidden to where even when the cleaning ladies in there don't know. But even with that, that doesn't mean they'd be able to stop a shooting.
I'm not even saying stop it. Just limit the carnage at that point. Like you said, it's unavoidable.
I almost feel like police would show up and end the carnage before they even have time to do anything.
Dude, there's been mass shootings where police haven't showed up for 15, 20 minutes. You know?
Yeah, police response time is
I get that. I don't have a good solution. Like I said, my best solution is a long-term one of just educating people better.
That's always the best bet.
And that's the solution for almost any of our problems.
Yeah. No, I mean, I had a certain aspect on how I looked at that situation. You guys kind of shed some light on it and changed it a little bit, you know? I mean,
there's ups and downs to everything. I see the positive sides of what you're saying.
Yeah.
But you also have to be smart enough to see that there are definite negatives too.
That's true. That's very true.
What, like, some kind of fucking system you could have, like, you know how you pull like a fucking fire alarm, but like a school shooting button, to where if there's a fucking shooter, you fucking push it and then
they have it, bro. They have it. They have like shit like that
and then
instantly in all the halls, smoke just goes everywhere.
some shit like that. Like
it's like
I didn't know that's a thing. That's pretty dope, though. That makes
but
sense.
they're crazy expensive, like $250,000.
Oh, God
upwards.
forbid we protect
Well,
people.
we're already spending the money on these $1 million schools. Why not add that into it?
like just like a fucking. Of
If
course,
anything,
then you're
wanna-
gonna get little shits.
You want to pass a law? That should be a law. Schools are
Exactly.
required to have an active shooter response system.
Exactly, within the school at all, and every school should be required by federal law
by law.
That's a lot better than just
to
having
add it into every
having
school.
a couple
Yeah,
teachers.
no, that's you want
rolling
to talk
around
about a
with
law
fucking
that should be
SMG.
passed. That's something that I'd be all game for.
Yeah.
Man, but then there's gonna be that little shit that fucking like there was always a kid in fucking high school
That
pull
pulls the
goddamn
fire alarm? Yeah.
There's gonna be a kid who fucking pushes the school shooting button.
Yeah.
That would be scary as fuck, man.
Oh, for
and there's
sure.
gonna be little fucking shits that fucking push that shit as a joke, and then all those teachers shit
Well,
themselves.
and you literally you could put it in.
You don't have to put it in hallways or anything either, though. You
Exactly.
could give it to, it could be as simple as have a radio in every single classroom. That's not hard to do. Radios are cheap.
They have
Walkie-talkies are cheap.
intercoms and
They have
shit,
intercoms
yeah.
already. So what you then have is a couple of different rooms, like one in the fucking principal's office and one in the maintenance area, whatever, that actually have these buttons, and all any teacher has to do is be like, there's a shooter.
Yeah. Boom.
And then someone whose job it is pushes that button. So you don't have kids pushing the button in the hallway.
Yeah, and like maybe the alarm goes off, everyone finds their fucking spot, and then boom, there's fucking just smoke everywhere.
Kid walks in through the front door or back door, wherever. Kid walks in, very first faculty member to see them, even before they fire a shot. What if they fire a shot? Then obviously everybody knows.
Yeah.
But even before they fire a shot, they see them with a gun. They take cover and just call real quick. Hey, press the fucking button.
It could be fucking noise activated. We have technology to where the second a round gets fired,
Yeah.
fucking system fucking senses that shit and fucking does the whole smokes whatever. Or
It could even pull to where all the water goes off and smoke. Well, you couldn't do both, but something. Because I mean, even if smoke goes off, he could the kid or whoever it is could still release rounds and rounds and rounds. It's
for sure.
It's gonna be
have all the school shootings been from like people who like young kids? It's never.
Like people who go to. It's not like.
17, 18.
But it's not like a
it's
30-year-old
never, yeah, it's
going
never like
into
a 30.
a school.
It's always
Well,
it's
no,
I'm
always
sure there
young
are.
people.
I'm sure there's times that's
You had
happened.
the movie theater in Colorado, and then you had one
I mean, I'm
recently
just talking about schools.
Sure, but there are mass shootings that aren't just
Oh, of
schools.
course.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, but I was just talking about all
Colleges.
the school shootings.
Are usually by students.
They're basically they're just by students. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Also, I don't know how much bullying comes down to like how many of the school shooters
and
were
no one
like,
really knows.
like horribly bullied, because I know like the Columbine, like the original Columbine one, like they were just bullied like
I feel
constantly.
like a lot of times that's what it is. A bad home
So-
life, a
so that's-
combination of like
yeah,
bullying
that's
and like
another
lack
thing they
of
need
friends
to-
at
they
school
need
or
to
whatever.
improve upon that environment and make sure, because kids can be
Kids are brutal.
kids are little shits, man. They just don't know any better. They're like developing and shit, but yeah, you can do more education on.
That's why I
on
said
that.
long term, you got to go back to just education and
That's ultimately what it is, and I think probably the key to the answer is exactly what you just said. But that stops it from schools. That doesn't stop it from everywhere. Like you said, a stadium. That's my biggest fear going to a Chiefs game or a Royals game. You never know. And like
It is shitty because you do think about that shit. Like
Yeah.
going to a Thursday night fucking football game, and you're like, man, if fucking the terrorist is gonna do some shit, like this is a fucking
this is
platform
prime
for
real
that.
estate
yeah,
for it.
exactly.
You're
That's
right,
one of
that
those
is
things
shitty
though where
'cause
you have
it's-
to. I mean, you have to balance out your risk versus reward factor there. Like everybody lives. If you think about that all the time, you can't constantly live in a state of fear, or else
Oh.
then you're not living.
It's just like when I'm walking into the game and I see how many people there are, I'm like, fuck, dude, like,
Yeah.
this isn't good. If something were to happen,
But you don't let that stop you
no,
from going to
not
the
at
game.
all. Because at that point, I'm 10, 15 beers deep, and
Not with,
right.
not with Patty Mahomes fucking
No,
tossing the
man.
pigskin around, bro. You don't
Yeah,
miss
dude.
those games.
There was an active shooter in Kansas City during a Chiefs game. Patty Mahomes would throw the ball straight at his dome and fuck him up.
Take him out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Take his head off.
He is the solution to every problem in America,
Fucking
baby.
Patrick Mahomes.
I say we arm teachers with Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
In all schools.
yes. Yes.
Fair enough.
Problem solved, man. Legalize cocaine and Patrick Mahomes at every high school.
Yes.
Yeah,
Across the
problem
nation.
solved.
Yeah.
Problem
solved.
If you can clone anyone in America, please clone Patrick Mahomes. Put him on every NFL team and in every
Yes.
fucking school across America.
Yes. God, we're all about Patrick Mahomes here in Kansas City.
We are.
Yeah.
Man, people are all about Patrick Mahomes, not in Kansas City.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, you're right.
worldwide,
it's,
man.
Yeah, he's worldwide now.
Yeah. Cover Madden, man. Cover Madden.
Yeah.
Which, by the
ACL,
way,
he's gonna snap up his
shut
ACL
the
this season.
fuck
That's what that
up.
means.
Shut up, man. Come on, man. Hey, it's coming to that time where we're gonna be doing some Chiefs podcasts. So
Yeah, those will be legit.
yeah,
I'm excited.
you get into football. I know you do.
Yeah.
So,
I'm not as knowledgeable
Mm.
like as you guys are. I don't keep up with the players as much and everything else, but
they're
Oh,
short.
man, there's been so
I
much
know.
goddamn drama.
They're
with
short
the
20-minute
Chiefs
segments and
organization.
shit like that.
no,
so.
I'll be good for it. I mean, I know a lot about it. Just like I said, just not as in detail.
For sure. No, that's dope. Well, we're hitting right about 50 minutes, man. I don't know legitimately what else we could talk about for 10 minutes and make a valid argument or point about that.
I don't know.
I don't know. Once you talk about putting Patrick Mahomes in every school in America, I feel like you've reached.
Yeah.
I feel like you've reached your pinnacle.
Yeah, the apex of the conversation for sure.
For sure. Well, so we can always end it there, man. It doesn't have to be an hour long.
Cool.
But we got
Just
some
bullshit for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, we're
not
gonna
talking
do
about
that.
articles, nothing.
That's true.
If
But
you made it this far, congrats. You listened to the whole podcast. Now stay for the bonus roll.
Is there anything
yeah.
up with the tariffs? I don't know how much you keep up with the news. Is old Donald?
China came out. Okay.
I know he's fucking my stocks.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it's
Bitcoin's up to 8,700.
Well, good for Bitcoin.
Are you gonna get out of it?
I already did.
Right.
I'm down to $97 in Bitcoin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you've
Oh,
already
you
you sold
didn't have that
some.
much invested.
Yeah.
You
oh,
only
yeah.
had like what 400 in something like that.
So I was at 400 in Bitcoin, and then right around when it was at 7,000, I purchased right around $400 more recently,
Okay.
and then it at 8,000, sorry, and then it dropped to 77, 76, and I'm like, fuck this, you know. So it went up a little bit, and I pulled out, and obviously I should have waited, you know, because it went up all the way to 87. But I was just like, I'm not trying to do it, man.
Dude, when you should always wait though at that level because you're talking about. Do you care if you lose $800?
No, not really.
But I mean, getting that money back plus a little more
Mm-hmm.
is always nice too.
Yeah, but tariffs-wise, China came out and they've said this. They've said the statement that they said about all the shit that's going on with the tariffs and shit. They said it 2 times, and both times was the first war that they were in and the Vietnam War, and then they said it just recently, a few days ago, about like the tariffs. So basically, what China's saying is, if we're going to put these tariffs on, we're to continue with it. We're going to basically not sell you any enriched earth minerals, is what they're saying in the United States. And we rely heavily on rare earth minerals, and China has a lot of those, and they're not going to sell it to us anymore.
Those are all using like microprocessors and stuff too, right?
Exactly.
Like basically all
Cell
of our
phones.
technology. They're in your cars. They're
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, they need to get that shit figured out. I wonder why Donald Trump was so hard up on raising him anyway.
Actually, that's the thing I want to know. I know a decent amount about it, but I've never actually heard why they were enacted in the first place.
The tariffs?
Yeah.
Just because he basically said we were getting raped by China when it came to just the amount of money that we were missing out on. We were losing, basically. Like, we've been taken advantage of through that process for such a long time.
Interesting.
I mean, everything in the United States is, or anything you buy is from China. Like,
But just like anything else, there's going to be an argument back and forth, and then eventually, they'll come up with a reasonable price to
Man, they've already got the solution. They've already got it. They've already talked about it. You know that.
just send
You think?
Patrick Mahomes
Yeah,
to
they got
fucking
it all.
China, dude.
China and us, we've already talked.
So what's the whole point of this right now? Just to drop prices on fucking everything?
I don't know. I'm not
the way shit can get bought up?
There's an end game for sure. You're right. Make the rich even more rich. Same with 2008 before the financial the bailout for the big banks. Like it created a lot of billionaires in 2008.
You're right. People were able to buy up property so fucking cheap. I just wonder if they did that intentionally to drop the price of fucking houses or shit, or if they were just really fucking stupid and didn't see that fucking far ahead. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Just let anyone and everyone buy whatever amount of house that they could ever want, and just it's
Dude,
all
we've gotten
you.
back
Here's
to
the
still
loan.
doing that though. We went right back into that. There were laws towards the banks, and it took a couple of years. But I think as of like 2010, we went straight back into doing the same kind of.
It's extremely hard to buy a house. Believe me, I've been through
I'm
the
not
process.
saying it's easy. Okay, fair enough.
It's very,
Fair
very,
enough.
very extensive, long process, man. They sent me through a long. They basically gave me hope to put my name on the house that I live in right now, and when I did all the things that they wanted me to do, they still denied me.
Oh shit.
So
How'd you get this house then?
Oh, I mean, my wife's father's a very nice gentleman.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my wife has really good credit, so he just had to co-sign for us. And I'm in a good position now to where I should probably put it in my name as well, but
So maybe it is more strict than it
very
used
strict.
to be.
The federal government.
Still, the fact that the fact that
fucking crash the economy.
Yeah,
They
the
should
fact that
have
loans
a
are
little bit
still
more.
Man, loans are so bad.
They are.
Loans are so
20%, man. 20%. I'll give you 10 grand. Give me 200, or I guess it'd be 2,000.
Yeah,
they charge insane amounts of interest.
Loans are nuts.
They are. When I had bad credit, man, I buy cars from Auto Now.
What's crazy though is if you got rid of.
I remember the Saturn.
This will never happen. But like if you got rid of like. If people didn't give out loans, like if it was literally illegal for banks to give out loans, and all this and so on and so forth, everything would drop so much in price. Because nobody's taking out a loan to buy a $150,000 home.
And you don't have to cover that interest, basically.
Yeah.
Like the money for the interest doesn't have to be there anymore.
I mean,
it would take a lot of time, but over time cars would, because cars aren't as expensive to make as what they sell them for. True. By any means. The profit margins on that are huge. But you could just lower the price. If nobody's taking out a $30,000 loan for a car, then all of a sudden cars are way cheaper because they still got to sell them.
Yeah.
I think the whole thing is that nobody's forced to get a loan. Like that's it's up to you whether or not you're smart about
but
it.
Everybody
and you completely
does.
completely
not
fucking
everybody,
saves
but
up.
like 70%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they had the fucked up credit system, and people are forced into bad loans and bad interest rates, and then they're forced going to a place like Auto Now and buying a shitty ass car for I bought a minivan for like $9,000, man. Or it was like it was the cheapest car on the lot. I paid like $7 for it, and I ended up paying like $11 for it
After interest, right?
Yeah.
Which is a joke.
37%
when you could have just paid $7 in cash.
Yeah.
For something that was probably only worth like you could
like
only
$5,
sell it for
$2,000.
$5.
Yeah, not even.
Not even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even. I
Yeah,
think I ended
cars-
up trading it in for $500.
Yeah, cars are. It's pretty scandalous how that shit works.
And it's not even cars; it's houses too, man. Like
Houses, too.
my house was $115,000. It's a 30-year note, at 3.75% interest.
The only difference is your house can potentially go up in value due to the land.
And it also can go down.
It can.
Big
but
time.
cars will always go down.
But over-
I guarantee you,
over a
cars
long
not
enough-
going up in
depreciate,
value.
yeah.
Nobody's paying more
But
for
houses
your car.
houses over a long enough period of time, I guarantee you will
Outweigh
go
the
up.
benefits, yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
If you're just talking
what
about
I'm-
like within a 5-year span, maybe, yeah. But
What
if you look at like a
Yeah, no,
40-year span,
because the
it
neighborhood
will
can change and so on and so forth, and it can bring down like your property value. But like you said, a 40-year span, a 50-year span, even keep the house, you die, your kids have it. They're gonna get more money for it than what you paid because
you will see a return.
Times change,
You will
yeah.
see a return on that.
Well, what I'm saying is like the interest on it. It's. I mean, like the mortgage. It's the interest is more than the mortgage.
That's what?
Yeah. What I pay to principal it's.
Oh well, you probably have one of those. There's actually a lot of loans that do that. Where
FHA, yeah.
Yeah, where it's like
The front end is all interest.
exactly. The front end is interest, and you don't actually start paying off the home until you've got the interest segment
Exactly.
mostly out of the way, and you're paying 80% interest, 20% is actual house,
Right.
And then as the years go on, now you're paying 50-50, and when you get towards the end of it, now you're paying 20-80.
And for an FHA, the reason is they want you to stay in the home. They don't want you to sell it.
Yeah.
And that's a good reason. I mean, I'm not
Also,
going to
it's-
make much money if I only put like $5,000 down to the principal.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. Like if I go and sell the house, I'm not going to make much money.
No.
Fucking, it turned into finance at the end. I like that. That was
we're
legit.
still anyone out there who knows someone who's good with finance minus Zach Sargett. We're still going to have him on the show sometime.
Did you say minus Zach Sargett?
I said we're going to have him on the show sometime to talk about finance because I think it'd be real fun to have. What I'm saying is, if you know Zach, don't tell him because I've already talked to him.
Oh, okay. I was confused.
Yeah.
I thought you were
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
I
fuck
got you.
Zach Sargett.
Yeah,
He
fuck
ain't.
him, man.
I was like, what?
But we'd like to have someone on to talk about some financial shit. But we do have some good stuff in the works. Like I've already told you guys.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We have some good.
Got some juicy stuff coming up.
We do, man, and nothing is confirmed except for Mike Anderson. We'll have him on the podcast again. The other two, there's. I mean, I don't know if I should say the names.
I wouldn't
out
even
there.
mention it. We'll get to it when we get
Well,
to it.
One's in my mind a 50-50. The other one's like an 80-20. You know,
Nice.
so we got some good stuff coming your guys' way. So stay tuned and keep listening to Talk Junkies, where Johnny's going to take a picture of himself and send it to Tyler, so we can
True
get a new
facts.
logo going on.
Yeah.
I'm still looking for a good website to get T-shirts printed, man. It's tough to find it.
Yeah, don't go through that one
Mowers
before, man.
Yeah, the one where you guys
shit-
like washed it once and all the
Yeah.
letters fell
like
off.
literally.
Well,
like,
in their defense, I did hit up the buddy of mine. He works there, and he's like, "Just bring them back in. I'll fix them." And I'm just like, I shouldn't have to do that. Granted, I paid $80 for 2 hoodies. I should probably take them back up
Instead of getting the sticker letters, though, man, you got to get that shit like
Embroidered.
but
embroidered.
That's
the
what
sewn
they
in
do.
ones.
That's what they do up there. Like they should know. Like,
Well,
hey, this
so
shit's. Hey,
original-
by the way, you just can't wash these.
Well, hold on.
You know, be real careful with these.
Originally, when I first went up there to pick them up, they only had the YouTube logo on there. I'm like, what the fuck are these?
I bet they bought them that way with
No,
the YouTube logo already on there.
They have printers. Like, they do all the schools around, they do all the uniforms, all that shit. And
Do they wash the uniforms?
But I went up there. That's all it was on there. I was like, no. I was like, I want Talk Junkies on there. Like, I said that to you. So then they probably rushed it, put it on, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
But either way, man, like I said, I'm looking for a good place to get some
They
good
probably
shit.
just threw those like those stickers on there that you like iron over
Yeah.
and they're supposed to stay.
That's exactly what it was. And thinking back on it, we should have re-ironed it just in case. But
Yeah. We'll make sure to iron the new set.
no, the news that's gonna look lit. But hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification button, and put a comment down below. And to all our junkies out there,
Stay fly and ring the bell.